Let's see who gets here first. Will be Vazen, Sean Walker. Who else likes to show up first? Which one of y'all motherfuckers gonna show up first? Let's give it a minute. Okay, one person's in here. Who that? Who that? Vazen, as I thought. As I thought. Shout out to you, Metazusta Corsastrial. All right. Now that we got one nigga in here, shout out to the young god. I'm gonna flip this and just get right into it, right? So later on today, in about 3.5 hours, we got on Illicit Minds channel, we got a live stream coming with Mark Moon Spilly, Life Abolitionist, aka the Black Anarchist, and the one and only Against Life 1000. They'll definitely be doing some discussion on euthanasia, life slavery, you know what I'm saying, the politics and legalities of it all, trying to get the euthanasia going and whatnot, and what they got going on. So prior to that, I figured that for anybody who wants a little warm up, who just wants to, get in the zone, I don't know what motherfuckers got going on a Saturday, I figured I'll throw this up real quick, a couple hours, and then we can head over to Illicit Minds channel and peep that. So let's just get right into it, right? So this is me having a conversation in a group chat with Mark Moon Spilly, Illicit Mind, Cosmics 92, all hail the names of the gods, right? So you shared this video. I shared this video, I should say. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Gen Z is the only generation with any damn balls. Go watch the video. It'll make what I'm about to say make more sense. For those of you in Discord, you've probably already seen it, but in our Discord, I should say, not just all Discords. In all Discords everywhere, you've seen this anyway. All right. So here's something I had to say on that, right? And after that, we'll get into what Marcus had to say about it and get into a few things. So I said the older generations of willing slave cuckolds absolutely hate to hear this blatantly obvious truth, but it's the absolute 100% objectively provable reality. Nobody should ever do anything against anybody else's consent, even more so if they can't even ask for that consent in the first place. That's called rape and / or slavery, and it's like the harshest kind of slavery because there's levels to slavery. That is the highest level of slavery there is. People birth other people into this trash-ass slave reality, onto this slave planet, into this slave civilization, into this slave society as part of this slave species, trapped by this global slave system, and expect them to just agree with being life slaves forever. And if the being they just brought into this slave reality to force life slavery onto decides they don't want to do it, all of a sudden, they're the problem. All of a sudden, they're the burden. All of a sudden, they're the crazy one. While everybody else just goes with the mass psychosis. If you're a slave on a plantation, you should be doing your absolute damnedest not to produce any more slaves. Doing anything else makes you retarded and nothing but a better slave to your slave masters. These are facts. Especially once you know it. If you don't know it, so like if you don't know something, you can't really make a choice. But if you know something, and if you have that idea, that feeling, like if you look at this reality and you say, I am a slave in this reality, that's your viewpoint of it, then yeah, you should be doing your absolute damnedest not to produce any more slaves. Because doing anything else makes you retarded and nothing but a better slave to your slave masters. Obviously, if you don't feel that way about reality, do whatever the fuck you want. That's your choice. But if you feel this way about reality, come on now. I think we could all agree to that. You're literally a slave producing factory at that point, right? But if you ever make the mistake of producing one by accident, animal stupidity, I've done it, acknowledge it, don't run from it, don't hide from it, don't all of a sudden start pretending like it's a good thing because you did it. A lot of people like to act like whatever they do is good, like they are perfect and they never make mistakes, or they never, no. Just because you did it doesn't make it any more correct. Period. Acknowledge it and do your damnedest to raise something other than just another slave. Honestly, at that point, if you aren't already, you should be moving into rebellion, revolt, revolution, simply on behalf of the slave you brought into the life. The slave you brought into this reality, simply on their behalf, you should be doing this, period. Moving into rebellion, revolt, revolution. Period. Even if you didn't bring any slaves into this, if you think you're a slave, this is what you should be doing. You should be attempting to at least begin the processes of removing slavery from the world you brought offspring into, or simply ending the world itself, so you're not leaving a legacy of slavery to your offspring and their possible future offspring. Fuck leaving some slave money or any other slave properties behind for your slave children. Leave them a free world or no world at all. Think, speak, and act in any and all ways you are willing and able to do to the best of your ability in order to leave a real legacy, a worthy legacy, a worthwhile legacy, not some bullshit. Motherfuckers always want to, I'm going to leave a legacy of, I don't know, properties and like just bullshit. Like leave a real one if you want to leave a legacy. Like, holy shit. A legacy free of slavery, or at a bare minimum, a legacy of at least attempting to end the slavery. At least attempt it. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh. All right. This is exactly why I told my son. I expect absolutely nothing from him. Everything he does that's good in my subjective opinion is just extra. He owes me nothing at all. I told him to do whatever the hell he wants and simply be aware of the benefits and consequences of any actions he may decide to take, and to let me know if he needs me to bail him out of any mistakes he makes, all the way up to murdering people for him and beyond. Need some people killed, little nigga? I got you. And if he ever really needs anything, let me know and I will gladly pillage and plunder to get it for him. But until then, milk your mother and never be a slave to anyone. And there's a reason behind that, which I wasn't going to go into, but you know what? Let's get a little personal today. Why not? The first 15 years, I wasn't even going to read this part, but I'm going to do it. Why not? The first 15 years of his life, as well as his two siblings, which are not my children, yet I raised as my children, and his mother, were all milking me, and I was perfectly fine with it. And I mean perfectly fine. I had no issues. Like, I'm being daddy. You know, like that's, it felt good in my opinion. Not even gonna lie. Never complained. Always tried to work more in side hustle. As far as I'm concerned, in this slave-ass monetary system, on this slave planet, in this slave species, it's expected of a father to do such things. So I simply did, fully knowing I was a complete slave. But there's certain things, like when you bring a slave into this reality, you guys, you know how they say when people have kids, they change, they become more, what's the word, societal. Like all of a sudden they go from being whatever they were to upstanding citizens. That is the trap. That is the slave trap. And when you have kids, when you do make that mistake, or when you don't even think this way at all, and it's not a mistake to you, it's what should be done, you still end up going that same route, generally speaking, right? Because that's just generally what's expected of you, and that's what's normal around these parts. Instead of stepping into the reality and saying, oh shit, I brought a slave into reality, maybe I should do something about the slavery in the reality, what we end up doing is just further enslaving ourselves. Instead of addressing the slavery, we just go deeper into it to provide the best slave life for the slaves we brought into the slavery. And then we start training them to do the same. So, in this slave-ass monetary system, it's expected of a father to do such things. So I simply did, fully knowing I was a complete slave. But come 2022, 4 years after divorce, it was finally time for his mother to get milked for a decade or so. Yeah, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about that. Especially since she's the main reason he's here to begin with. Yeah, clamped up on a nigga. Did that on purpose too. But a nigga gave in like a weak fucking monkey. Like the weak, retarded monkey that I am. Like the Homo sapien gorilla seeking desires that I am. Fuck was. You know, it's like once you're a drug addict, you're always a drug addict. I will always say am. Fuck was. Oh, that was a mistake I made this many years ago. Nigga, you still did it and you still like that shit to this day. Let's not bullshit, nigga. That shit feels good to this day, right? Right? So you're still a fucking drug addict. Acknowledge that so you don't make the same mistakes in the future. Well, shout out to you, Life Abolitionism. And you, whoever just Desiree123, shout out to you. Subscribing to my channel. Live. Uh, let's see. Where did I say here? All right. I said we could have had a nice, big, happy slave family because I was willing to do it. I was at that. I was very willing to do it. Right. We could have had a nice, big, happy slave family living in a triplex, which was the plan, where she was a stay-at-home mom, and I planned to take care of all three children as they wanted to be taken care of. Because once I had realized that, I was like, oh, well, I done brought slaves into this reality. I should take care of the slaves. You know, it's like if they want to work or do whatever the fuck they want, by all means, but they shouldn't have to do anything, right? Can we agree on that? You know, you bring a slave into this reality, that should be you really further enslaving yourself as opposed to enslaving them. Really, you shouldn't do it at all, but if you do it, you know, it's not about trying to raise more slaves. It's about giving them the best life they could possibly have, that you could possibly give them, right? All three children as long as they wanted to be taken care of. But she ruined that, and that's a long story we won't get into. We won't get that personal today. So now she gets milked like I did, because I was willing to be the milking cow forever. I was willing to do it. I was willing to do it, not gonna lie. She wanted to be a struggling single mother instead of a secure stay-at-home mom whose husband isn't off lying, cheating, or abusing anyone, and could have spent her days doing whatever the hell she wanted. Well, she now gets to do exactly that, right? And this is also a lesson I'm trying to teach. And like, we'll see if it works out in the end. Probably not, because nothing ever does here. No, I do not feel bad for her at all. I really don't. I'm not going to lie. People can feel about that however the fuck they want. That's your choice. Not even in the smallest inkling of shame, regret, remorse, sympathy, etc. If I did, I wouldn't be reading this live on the internet, right? Just putting that out there for anyone who might have that question. And this is why whenever she has an issue with him, I don't give a fuck. I do not support her when it comes to forcing anything on these children. If they aren't raping or forcing enslavement on somebody else in some form or fashion, I support them doing whatever the fuck they want to do. None of them chose to be here, and I don't raise slaves. It's just not what I do. Already made the fucking mistake of bringing them into life slavery to begin with. I'm not going to raise them as civilizational slaves as well. Now here's brother Mark Moon Spilly, the artist formerly known as Mark Antinatalist, his response. Before that, what up, Vero85? I see you. I'm enslaved in total bondage. Please help. Yeah, we trying. Alice Jones, WSG with you. I don't know what WSG means. I'm not up in all the modern lingo, sweetheart. I apologize. But shout out to you. I'm not sure I've heard your name around here before. So welcome. Let me make sure I got all the chats on. All right? Yep, I do. All right. Dumbass, you just shut them off. I just turned it all off like a retard. There we go. Turned it back on. But if you could tell me what WSG means, I'll give you an answer to whatever you're saying there. All right, Mark Moonspilly's response to that. Oh my fucking God, exactly. Goddamn, how much I wish I could broadcast all of these messages into people's minds everywhere. Yeah, me too. People need to understand how valuable freedom is, and they simply don't. They drag people into the world and expect them to simply be good slaves and accept it because they themselves have accepted slavery and servitude. And as you have said time and time again, they will constantly try to drag you back into the slavery constantly. Yeah, big word. Constantly try to drag you back into the slavery of their normality. They can't fathom freedom. They can't fathom people doing anything apart from what's expected of them by the slave machine of the society. I've been through it again today. Mom's telling me she wants to put me out and that I'll need to find a place soon. So if anybody got any room for Mark Moon Spilly out there, hey, holla at the brother. Maybe, you got any room for a brother, and holla at the brother. You never know. Because Marcus. Mark will hop, skip, and jump out of here real quick if he needs to. Like, you want him around? Fuck it. Keep him around. I don't know what to tell you. But mom's telling me she wants to put me out and that I'll need to find a place soon. I knew it was coming, and truth be told, I do wish I had my own place so I could be as wild and unrestricted as I'd like to be. But the demands for that mediocrity are far too high for me. Just to sustain a small apartment would require me to be a total slave, let alone getting a car, paying car notes, paying insurance, paying, working some more. And I'm just not fucking willing to do all that fucking shit at all. I'm just not fucking willing to do that fucking shit at all. There we go. The juice is simply not worth the squeeze. So if she does go through with putting me out, and realistically, I know for a fact she won't, then I'd rather just jump off a fucking bridge or something. It'll be strategic. It'll be a strategic retreat before I willingly became a slave for this pointless shit, just to maintain a fucking life that I didn't want anyway. Fuck that shit. I want to be free, and that shit is nothing but servitude. Their whole way of life is to be obedient slaves to the point that it scares them to hear us speak the way we do. We should have the right to our own lives, and when to determine that we don't want to continue living them. We should be able to be as wild as we'd want, to live as we want unapologetically, to do what we will in the absolute sense of that, and these motherfuckers are doing their best to deny that to us. Fuck them and their systems. I can't wait for all this shit to go down in flames. I want this shit to collapse so bad. I want their whole world system to fail and go up in smoke. Even though I know that's also going to mean a lot of comforts are going to be stripped away. Fuck it. It'll be worth it just seeing this shit go down in violent flames. Fuck this house. I want to be free, unapologetically, wildly free, unhindered, unrestrained, as free as it is possible to be. Not as free as it is possible for a human to be, as free as it is possible to be. So anywhere and everywhere that you happen to be, as free as possible. Hence why I hate this fucking world. Everything here is about slavery, restriction, about being a total bitch to every system maintaining it. These are facts. The world is not free. The people are not free and don't want freedom. These are facts. They love their slavery and will make any excuse to maintain it. Because true freedom would mean the burning end of the slave system and its mediocre, comfortable shackles. The world that billions of people seem content to maintain is one where they must strive to be monetary slaves, endlessly paying for their lives, paying for the feeble comforts that they have and are being exploited for 24/7. And this is normal and reasonable to them. So much so that if you say you're not going to do this shit, they'll look at you like you're crazy or try to make it seem like there's something wrong with you. When in reality, it's something wrong with them. Shit, it's something wrong with the whole reality itself. Like, it's something wrong with reality itself. They birth people into slavery and expect that all of us are just going to accept this shit and go along peacefully with it. No. I'd rather all of this shit go up in violent flames before I resign myself to be another fucking number in this worldwide plantation of theirs. If this is what the world is and can only ever be, then fuck the world to burning death. Launch the fucking nukes and get it over with. Yeah, I'm with you, big dog. Big eyes, I'm with you, big dog. Man just went all the way in, right? I told him, I put all that on video and whatnot. He's like, hell yeah, nigga, do that shit. Zero problem. Fuck this place. I mean, every word of it. Right? Oh, what is good? Okay, shout out to you, Vazen. What is good with you? Well, you about to find out, Alice Jones. You about to find out what's good over here. Thank you, Vazen, for giving me that definition to that acronym. V85. Quantum immortality won't allow Marcus to commit self-deletion since he ain't. Quantum immortality is bullshit. It's based on bullshit. It's an impossibility based on impossibilities, based on impossibilities, based on impossibilities. It's not real. There's literally zero evidence of it, and all the evidence is actually against it. It's only a pretty equation on a chalkboard that doesn't work anywhere in reality and isn't represented or evidenced anywhere in reality. And all of reality actually evidences against it. There's a lot of quantum hoopla out there that you got to look at. I call it quantum hoopla because quantum mechanics, most of quantum mechanics and quantum physics is based in pure theory, and it's pure mathematical theory. It's all, conceptual. It's not physical. When you look at quantum mechanics and quantum physics, you definitely want to make sure that you are looking for quantum mechanics and quantum physics represented in physical reality, or else you're going to end up with a bunch of nonsensical conceptual infinities that aren't real. And once you start stacking infinities, you end up with quantum immortality, which is literally impossible in reality. Like, people say that, but they don't actually study it. Like you really have to actually study the quantum part of the quantum immortality to understand where does that even come from? What is it even based on? And when you understand that, you realize quantum immortality is utter bullshit. Trust me. Pure and utter bullshit. 100% bullshit. It's not even close to being close to being close to being close to being real. Like, shit is utter trash. Nukes are whack and fake since they've never been detonated. I mean, you can make that claim, but there's all the evidence goes against that claim. Like, you can go to sites today to test the nuclear radiation that is perfectly in line with what would be expected from the nuclear explosion when it was said to explode, and they have it on film, and they have witnesses, and they have people who got sick from it, and they have people with nuclear explosions literally burned into the retinas of their eyeballs, because it literally, your eyeballs intake light, and if the light is too intense, it can act like a photograph. It can literally imprint on the retina of your eye. And you know what on Earth produces high enough X-rays and gamma rays and light, just in general, electromagnetic frequencies to do that to your eyeball? Nuclear blasts. And there's still people alive to this very day who have that shit imprinted into their eyeballs from witnessing them. So yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and things like, but we got to get real about the actual evidence that is provided to us in reality, as opposed to just wanting to believe things. Like, you know, like we really got to study shit. We make a lot of claims. We really got to study shit. Life abolitionism. Hey, Sean Gale, looking forward to the live stream. Shout out to you, brother. I'm looking forward to. I won't be on that one. That'll be you, Marcus, Against Life, and Illicit Mind, but I will be in the chat. Shout out to y'all. This is a little pre-that. This is a pre-live stream for that live stream. You know, get people warmed up for you. But let's get into these recordings here. While I smoketh my weedeth.
Oh my god, fucking exactly, goddamn.
Mind you, the recordings is going to be me responding to Marcus, so I'm going to be reading what he said and responding to what he said, so.
Oh my god, fucking exactly, goddamn, how much I wish I could broadcast all these messages into people's minds everywhere. I mean, you kinda can. Make a video. Make a live stream on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love how you thought, because that's the first thing I thought. I wish.
And let me know if the sound sounds good. Let me know if it's too high, too low, if it sounds too, like, you know, ear scratching, ear fucking destroying, because I'm playing one phone into another phone. So if it sounds fine, don't say shit. If it sounds fucked up, let me know.
Broadcast. I'm like, okay, broadcasting all these messages into people's minds. I'm like, well, audio recordings, video recordings, live streams. You know, like technically we can. It wouldn't be everyone everywhere, but you know, we can get some people. You know, that's why I'm always saying, make videos about these things, man. Don't just keep it inside. You have a voice people want to hear. Make the video. I was gonna make a video on this, but I'm not, because since we reached a certain point in solutions, I do, and my channel is very heavily, you know my channel. I do want to make another video on solutions. I'm gonna go over the same list we all just went over on Illicit's channel the last 2 times, and then I'm gonna go over certain curated texts that I keep in my clipboard that are all about solutions, because I want to harp on that hard body. But
and that will be my next live stream.
I would say when you got all this to say right here, bro, turn on the microphone, man. Turn on the camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let the people hear your voice. People need to understand how valuable freedom is. I agree. And they simply don't. They drag people into they're trash. Yes, they are. Like, they don't care about freedom. Let's just be real. They don't give a flying fuck about freedom. They care about comfort and convenience. They care about that which they know to accept. Because it's not even like comforts and conveniences external to the system that could be developed once the system is done away with. Once the slavery is done away with and you have actual freedom, you can have better comforts and conveniences that are based in freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they aren't as, I don't know, pleasurable as certain comforts and conveniences that society offers, which I don't understand how you could, but whatever. But let's just say society automatically, in some form or fashion, offers comforts and conveniences you could just never get without it. You could never develop a free way to get any of these things. Let's just pretend that bullshit is true, right? They will keep their slave societies for that bullshit. And let's be real about it. Anything that was developed by society could be developed without society. Like, when I say society, I mean the slave system. Technically, society is just people coming together to do things. So, you know, so that would still be a society. Even anarchy still forms societies, but no hierarchies. That's the word I'm looking for. You don't require these slave hierarchies. You don't require fiat monetary systems. You don't require banking systems that run on debt. You don't require Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. You don't require, like, all this shit that that runs the world. You don't require the elites, the banking families, the power families, the dragon families, the untouchables, the Illuminati. You don't need any of these motherfuckers. hierarchical structure, who has them doing a bunch of shit they don't want for their benefits. And even though a lot of the shit we don't want leads to us gaining resources and all these sorts of things that we can then use that we wouldn't be using if we weren't on their agenda, we would eventually find our way to those things once we want them for freedom reasons. Oh, well, we might not have discovered oil until 200 years later if we weren't trying to build the world they were trying to build for their... I don't give a fuck. We don't need oil for that 200 years then. If in a free world, we have no fucking use for oil. You know what I'm saying? Like, until 2200 versus 1850, then we have no use for oil until 2200 rather than 1850. Well, in their world, we got it at 1850, so we traded slavery to discover oil earlier. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care about oil. The shit we get from discovering oil doesn't mean shit if we're not fucking free. Matter of fact, when they discovered oil in the 1840s, 50s, 30s, whatever people want to say, you know, was the first discovery, this and the other thing, guess what? There was still chattel slavery in the United States of America. You know, like, I don't give a fuck about the oil. I give a fuck about the freedom. Everything else comes after freedom. Freedom is number one. Everything else comes after. Like, period. And people just can't wrap their heads around that because they're too pussy, they're too cowardly, and they're too enslaved. They're just far too enslaved, bro.
Specifically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, consciously, subconsciously, astrally. Their mind as a whole is enslaved to the point where the slavery is just normal. This is just how it's supposed to be. Matter of fact, this is the best it could be. It's mind-boggling.
Understand what freedom is, and they simply don't. They drag people into the world and accept them to simply be... Okay, there we go. They simply don't. They drag people into the world and expect them to simply be good slaves. And they raise them that way. They teach and train them that way. Even when they don't think they're doing that. That's what the fuck they're doing. When you have a child born to a slave on a slave plantation and they teach them how to work that plantation, even if it's working the plantation to the absolute best of their own benefit, they're still a slave on a plantation attempting to work the rules and laws and codes of that plantation to the best of their ability. You know, if you're somebody who's born into this world to a parent who's trying to teach you, you know, politics, laws, economics, monetary shit, tax code, like whatever the fuck, so you can have the best possible life here. Possible. Because again, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to be a billionaire. Man, you know, it's like, unless your parent was a billionaire, the odds of you being a billionaire are 0.0000000. Like, they're extremely low. But you know, parents will try to raise their kids to have the best possible lives, the best educations, the best, leave them what they could leave them as far as property, money, you know, like whatever the fuck they could leave them, legacies and whatever the fuck, right? Whatever it may be. I can hear people trying to get overly specific. Well, I would leave. I don't care what you would leave. That's not the question. Like, it's just people leaving things to the next generation if they can, which most people don't. They leave them debt and shit for the purposes, you know, because that's what the slave system does. But people who can, at least to a certain extent, use that slave system to their benefit will try to leave what they benefited to their next of kin after death, so they can have the best possible life. Teach them, train them, best education, whatever the fuck, right? But they're still just slaves with a better education than other slaves. They're still a slave to the same system, the same monetary system, the same fiat currencies, the same banking system, the same central banking structure, the same governments, the same laws, the same police forces, the same militaries. They go run the same red light as everyone else, and they're getting pulled over by the same fucking slave catchers. And choice does not take that away either. Like, you can have a choice to pull over for the slave catchers or not. Now, when you pull over for the slave catchers, you're choosing slavery. When you do anything the system directs you to do, especially when it's something you don't want to do or would not do without the system directing you to do it, you are being a slave to the system. Whether you're choosing that or whether it's forced upon you, because again, slavery is a choice. People act like slavery slavery is not a choice. Like, oh, you must have no choice to have slavery. False. All slaves have choice. Even a girl who's chained to a bed has the choice to struggle as much as she possibly can while being raped. Of course, it gets to a point where you get too tired, you're too beat up, you literally just lay there and get raped. At that point, there's nothing you can do. But guess what? That's the most extreme level of slavery. People think that they only try to go to extremes they currently themselves aren't currently in, and say, oh, that's slavery. What I'm doing and what I'm in is not slavery. Anything that I've ever taken part in and anything that I do on it, that's not slavery.
And that goes for everything. Think of religions. Oh, we're not a cult, they're a cult. You know, that's how everyone does things. Whatever they do, think, believe, like, etc., 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 is not the thing with the negative connotation. It's what others do or everyone else does that is the thing with the negative connotation. Even though the negative connotation, the thing with the negative connotation, whether it be some form of slavery, religion, whatever the fuck, whether you choose it or it's forced upon you, it is programming you. Period. Right? That's its goal, to get you to behave in a manner that works best for it. Especially if that behavior doesn't work best for you, it needs to program you more. Especially if it's some shit you wouldn't want to do or wouldn't normally do on your own, it needs to program you more. These are just levels of slavery. It's all levels of slavery. But folks always love to say the thing that they're doing, whoever they are, whatever they believe, whatever, like, it doesn't even matter. Whoever they are, whatever they believe, the thing they're doing is not the slavery, is not the cult, is not the brainwashing, is not the propaganda, is not the whatever the fuck, right? It's always the other side or whatever the fuck, right? What up, Johnny Wolf? Shout out to you. I see you in there. What up, Lone Richie? And yes, life abolitionism. Well-paid slaves. They're still slaves. They're just well-paid slaves.
I choose to do that. Nigga, you could choose slavery every day. Every day on a plantation, those cotton-picking slaves chose slavery. Every single day, they had the choice to revolt. They had the choice to learn, teach, preach, promote, and carry out any and all solutions to their problem of slavery, and to support anyone, anywhere else doing anything to provide or learn, teach, preach, promote, or carry out solutions to their problem of slavery. Yet they chose to just keep picking cotton. Yet when another slave would say, hey, we should revolt, we should rebel, we should run, we should do anything other than keep picking this fucking cotton, when he was trying to make a choice against the slavery, a choice for freedom, the cotton-picking slaves would be like, nah, bro, I'm just going to keep picking this cotton. I'm just going to try to pick more cotton. I'm just going to try to teach my kids how to pick cotton in such a way that it benefits them. I'm just going to try to take as much advantage of this slavery as I possibly can. I'm going to try to become a house nigga. I'm going to try to become the most advanced, high-ranking slave I could possibly be. Maybe even one day I could buy my freedoms and start my own slave plantation. And Oz be massa then. Oz be massa then.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now. That's what niggas want to do. I am the captain now. I am the new slave master. Yes. Instead of abolishing the slavery, they just want to become the masters.
Right? And then other slaves will be like, what do you mean? We're not even enslaved. Bro, we got clothes, we got food, we got shelter. So, like, we don't get paid. What do you mean we don't get paid? First off, that's not what slavery is. You can get paid and still be a fucking slave. Ever heard of wage slavery? Like, there's like 30 different types of slavery that require you to pay the slaves. Like, people do not study the history of slavery. They really fucking don't understand what slavery is. They only see chattel slavery and think that's slavery. I'm like, no, nigga, that's just a more harsh rendition of slavery. Fiat slavery. Fiat currency is a form of slavery. Central banking is literally a form of slavery. That's why everywhere the Jews went in like 2,000 fucking countries, If we want to get literal, it's like 1600, but like 1600 kingdoms kicked them out throughout the last 3,000-ish years, 2,700-ish years, something like that. Because everywhere they went, they try to start fiat currencies. They first start with something backed currencies, gold, seashells, whatever the fuck. They back the currencies with something, and then they eventually use too many promissory notes, and through loans and debt, get rid of that window entirely. It's not backed by shit. Every IOU note isn't backed by a fucking thing at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is why they get kicked out of everywhere, because everywhere they go, they start central banking systems. It's part of Judaism. It's written right into their fucking Talmud, so they can collect the wealth of everyone and become those in control of the wealth. They start fiat currency systems. These are Jewish forms of slavery.
Whether people like to hear that shit or not. Yes, life abolitionism. Yes, brother, that part. I don't want to say this on DNW's channel, but it's true, right? You know, like, a lot of people don't like, I feel you, a lot of people don't like to hear that shit. But certain things do come from certain places. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. None of this shit happened by accident. People had ideas based on outcomes they wanted. So they would put those ideas in motion, creating agendas in order to achieve those outcomes. That's just how people work. That's how consciousness works. Even subconscious hunting tactics work that way from a lion. I'm hungry. There's zebra. I want zebra. I take this angle. I run zebra down. I get zebra. That's how consciousness works. That's how simulation and calculation works. That's how thinking works. You know? People hate to hear that, like this shit just happened out of nowhere. No, there's specific people throughout history who did specific things based on specific goals, creating specific agendas to achieve those goals. And we're living in that reality. That's just how shit works.
Religion itself is a slavery, which most people are religious in some form or fashion. Our educational system is developed to create slaves, to create low IQ, hard-working citizens for the elite class, according to the Rockefeller Foundation itself, according to John D. Rockefeller himself, the same guy who developed our oil and gas systems, the same guy who developed our healthcare system, the same guy who helped set up the United Nations. And I say guy, but it's really his organizational structure. It's not just him. Him, his family, and their organizational structure, their advisors, and all the people they have around them, the people they pay, and all the
as well as the people who brought ideas to them, as well as people who were in more powerful places, as well as people who were in less powerful places who had great ideas that they would then fund. You know, the whole organizational structure. There might be a face on it, a name on it, like a John D. Rockefeller, Rockefeller Foundation, but even that is just an organizational structure made up of people connected to other people. Hiring people, funding people, firing people, influencing people, punishing people, rewarding people. It's people in an organizational structure with other people. Right?
They run with their ilk, the elites and the elitists.
And remember, you don't need to be an elite to be an elitist. You just have to support elitism. Just like you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. You just got to support Zionism. Shit, you don't even got to be part of any of the religions. If you just want to see Zion come, you can still be a Zionist. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
it's what they do. They try to create goyim slave populations through economics and economic and monetary policy, financial policy, governmental and political policy, through law. Law equals slavery. You are a slave to your legal system. You don't have to agree with all the laws to be punished by them. Meaning, you're a slave. And the only way to choose freedom in the moment is if a police officer tries to punish you, tries to corral you, detain you, arrest you, jail you, imprison you, etc. for breaking a law you don't even law nor the punishments that go along with it, so I don't agree with you attempting to punish me for that law. Well, I'm going to punish you anyway and put you in a fucking cage, you fucking slave. All right, I guess it's time to die then. Give me freedom or give me death. That's your only option in such a situation. And the only way to remain free in that situation is to die free or to win and be victorious and live while remaining as free as possible. Because obviously life itself is a form of slavery. You are a gene slave. You are a DNA slave. You are a slave of survival and replication itself. As something that exists, you are a slave of existence. As something that is real, you are a slave of reality because you did not choose to exist. Even for those people claiming we chose to exist as humans in this, you did not choose to come into existence as a being that exists. You simply didn't, and then you did. You can't make a choice prior to being. So you must be before you can make choices about being. Therefore, you did not choose to exist, even if you chose to exist as a human later. For all those retards, this is a school. We all 8 billion of us on this planet chose this, let alone anyone and everyone everywhere else in the cosmos. Every single conscious being that ever existed, currently exists, and will ever exist chose to be here. This is all our choice. They can never prove it. They can't provide any evidence of it at all. And the lack of evidence is not evidence. Like, if you're going to tell me I made the choice to be here, you're the one who has to provide the evidence that I made the choice to be here, or else you can't really make the claim. The only thing that can be proven here in the material reality from a material perspective, no matter what I choose to believe, the only thing that can be proven is you didn't exist as a human, your parents fucked, they made a choice, your mother got pregnant, you were born as a human. No one can prove anything beyond that. Everything beyond that is subjective, everything beyond that is belief, everything beyond that is religion, including what I myself believe happened before I was born and what will happen after I die. All of that is belief. I can't prove that to anyone. Even if I believe that I've proven it to myself, I can't prove that externally and objectively and definitively to anyone else, anywhere else, which means I can't prove it. Because if I can definitively prove something, I can show it to someone else. I can hold up 2 fingers, count to 2, show how each of those individual fingers is 1 finger, and prove that 1 + 1 = 2. I cannot prove what was going on with me before my birth, nor can I prove what is going to go on with me after death. So to make any such claims is asinine and religious. So it's bullshit to say that we all chose to be here. No one can provide any evidence of that. Secondly, even if that was true, that's still a choice you made after existing. You already existed in some other form and then chose to come into this form if you chose this. But you didn't choose to exist. So yes, you are a slave to existence. You did not make a choice. There was no consent offered. No one could even get your consent because you did not exist yet. And it's no difference if you go to have sex with a girl who said no versus a girl who's in a coma. If she can't give her consent, that is the same thing as her saying no. If someone cannot give you their consent, it is equivalent to them telling you they do not consent. Because you should not act as if they do consent until you can guarantee that they actually do consent. If you are unable to get someone's consent, the only logical way to act, the only way to act in accordance with their consent would be to behave as if they told you no. Because they did not tell you yes. So to behave as if they did tell you yes would be the same thing as imposing your will upon them, because that's not their will. They did not give you their consent. They could not give you their consent. No different than a child being born. They did not give you their consent to be born because they could not. And anyone claiming otherwise, give me any evidence at all, and they cannot. The only thing they can prove, that any of us can prove, is that their parents fucked, got pregnant, and the baby was born. The baby could not give consent to being born. It could not say yes or no. Period. These are facts. Like, whether people like that or not, because they did it. Like, you know, it's like people try to act like that which they've done and that which they do and that which they plan to do is automatically, objectively correct in all ways because it's what they want to do. Like, that's not how reality works. It just isn't. 1 + 1 is 2. No matter how you feel about the number 2 or the number 3 or the number 1 or the number 17, 1 + 1 is still 2. Like, it is what it is, right? You did bring your children into life slavery. They are now enslaved to survival and procreation. Yes, they can kill themselves, but how hard is that? How hard is it to override the slavery known as the survival instinct, which is attempting to maintain you in the chains known as the human body? You know what I'm saying? Like, so the solution itself is easy. Yeah, of course, kill yourself. The actual carrying out of that solution is ridiculously hard, and you, as the parent who brought them here, put them in that position. You know, it's like, either they survive or they kill themselves. Like, great position to put them in for those who don't like being here. Some love being here and might love being here forever, but, you know, you're running that risk when you decide to birth them. It is what it is.
It is what it is. You're running that risk when you decide to birth them. Will they like it? Will they love it? Will they dislike it? Will they hate it? Well, if you look at the vast majority of humans that ever existed, you tell me. Like, you tell me what you think it would be. LA, we need to do a panel just to talk about this specific topic. Procreation isn't the only problem. It's about being enslaved to this illegitimate system. Agreed. This religious system we're in, that people just won't admit is a religious system. Metazusta. Indeed, for example, you do not need to be a satanic Luciferian, Lilithian, Azeratian demon of infernal chaos to be an anti-cosmic Satanist. You just simply have to support that philosophically. Exactly. To be honest with you, that's the best way to put it. Like, I remember when Guy Edward Barkus, all hell his name, blew up that IVF clinic, and people started running away from the term antinatalist. They were suddenly no longer antinatalists, yet their thought processes were still antinatalist. Like, they, like, philosophically speaking, they were still antinatalist. They were just running away from the title because a guy who went by the same title based on having the same philosophy when it comes to procreation did a thing that they either didn't agree with or were scared of or didn't want to be tied to in any way. But they were still antinatalists, whether they choose to call themselves that or not. If there's a lot of Christian-minded people out there, you know, it's like, oh, I'm not a Christian, I don't go to church. But when you talk about God or religion and things, like, you can see that a lot of these things are leaning in that direction or come from that direction just because of upbringing, geographical location, what country they're in, etc. Like, if you go to Muslim countries, it's the same thing there, just leaning towards Islam. If you go to any country that has any predominant religion, you're generally going to find that the people, even if they don't profess to be that religion or aren't card-carrying members of that religion, when it comes to their thought processes of anything in that field of thought, you're going to notice a very heavy connection to the dominant religion of the geographical location you're standing in. Every time. Every fucking time. This is how culture works, society, religion, all this shit mixes and mingles together into one thing. We call it civilization. And it affects everybody within it. It just is what it is, including us, you know? So you don't have to be something to kind of be that something anyway. You don't even have to agree with something. You could hate something and still feed it and empower it every day of your life. Like, you're still that thing even if you hate it. Like, because it's what you think, speak, or do daily. You know, so like, it's what you feed and support and help daily, you know? Same way you do not need to be a slave master to be pro-slavist. Facts. These are facts. Only just support it. Exactly. Absolutely. Procreation is still being a very big problem, but then after that, it goes way beyond procreation when you take a look at everything in this universe. Laves. Yo, what's good? Life is awesome. Skullface, dead. What up, Laves? Alright, on to the next one.
Anyway, I said all that to say, just, you know, they don't care about freedom. And they will argue whether they're slaves or not till they're blue in the face and try to come up with every level of excuse as to why they're not, when they all are, because they all choose slavery every fucking day. When the police get behind them, they choose to pull over. in, they choose to pay them. When the taxes are called, they choose to pay. Like, all the slavery that's here...
These are just examples that everybody knows of, but think of anything and everything that is done in society. That is either done because society wills it, like something beyond you wills it. I should just say it, because something beyond you wills it. And that's the only reason you really do it. If you were left to your own devices, didn't have incentives, let alone punishments, and in many cases, a lot of people wouldn't do certain things for the incentives. They do them to avoid the punishments. Because they're like, I don't even care about those incentives. Well, we'll punish you if you don't do it. Well, I guess I'll do it then. I guess that's my incentive, to not be punished. Like, a lot of people don't do things that they want to do because they ain't trying to get in trouble with the law. And a lot of people do things they don't want to do because they ain't trying to get in trouble with the law in one way or another. When I say the law, I just mean authority figure. You name it, from whatever level we're talking about. Whether we're talking about as a child, your parents, school teachers, church, whoever's in charge of you there, as an adult, school, university, prison, military, jobs, careers. Like, what, if you're an investor and you don't got a boss or anything, but there's still laws, there's still a government, there's still a monetary system, economic system you're abiding by, there's financial laws, like, break certain laws and you might become a white collar criminal. Like, it's like, that's how systems work. There's rules, they have to operate a certain way, or they fail. You give it it is what it is. It is what it is.
Choose to take part in, which means they're slaves. Period. Willful slaves, willing slaves. They choose to do everything they're chose to do from birth to death. And when they do go out of line, what do? They get punished. At whatever level they get punished, whether it's parents' punishment, whether it's school punishments, detentions, suspensions, whatever the fuck, whether it's the police eventually putting you in juvie or putting you in jail for the weekend or putting you in prison for some years, whether it's them taking your car because you didn't pay bills, taking your home, taking your shit because you didn't pay taxes, the IRS shows up and tries to take your shit, or tries to take you and enslave you for a certain period of time in a chattel slave camp, which is known as prison, in order to pay your debt to society. Isn't that what they say? You got to pay your debt, do the crime, do the time, pay your debt to society. Slave. They just up your enslavement. That's all they do. Whenever you do something against the slavery that the slavers don't like, starting with your parents, they increase the slavery. They take fun away. They take comfort and convenience away. Go to your room. You're not allowed to play video games. You can't go outside. They start taking freedom away. They take more and more freedom away. They take more and more of your choices and options away, or at least perceivably, because you could choose to say, fuck them, stab them, and go outside. You know what I'm saying? You could kill your parent. Like, I'm taking your video game system away. That kid killed his parents and kept playing his game. Do you understand? Like, that kid chose freedom. Lots of people hate to hear that, so that kid chose freedom.
And extend that to any kid, any being that is under any structure that is attempting to control them. Especially a structure they came into that they had no choice to come into. At least no provable choice. People can believe whatever they want, but no provable choice. No way to say yes or no.
He said, I'm not nobody's slave. You didn't bring me here to tell me what to do, motherfuckers. And as much as people might look at that and go, oh my God, that kid's crazy. I'm like, that kid's real. That's the kid I want. That's the kid. I want the kid who will kill me in I want an Eleutheromaniac. Someone who's so hard on their own freedom, they will murder their own parents to achieve it. Because, I love those kids. And I get it. A lot of this shit is manipulated. I'm not retarded. Brain manipulation, all sorts of shit with their hormones. If they're addicted to the fucking video game. I get all the bullshit. Why they killed their parents, why they generally wanted to. But that doesn't matter. Everyone wants things for the reasons they want them. They all desire them for the reasons they desire them. Whether it has to do with their brain chemistry, neurology, biochemistry, their consciousness, their soul, their spirit, their deep essence, whatever the fuck the reason is, people want certain things that requires them to be free enough to do those things, especially in the face of somebody supposedly greater than them, more powerful than them, or more authoritative than them, telling them they can't do those things. And they're willing to violently rebel murder those motherfuckers to maintain or regain the level of freedom they once had to do those things that they want to do. Nigga, I fucks with those people. It's the pussies who go with the punishment that I don't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is most people. Like, even the people I do fuck with would mostly go along with most punishments they're given. Like, because that's just what it is to exist and want to continue existing. But the people I fuck with the most, let me say it that way, the people I have the most love for, the people I have the most respect for, let me say it that way too.
That's the word I was searching for the whole time.
Are those who are like, fuck your punishments, I will kill you. You're going to have to murder me, or I'm going to do what I want to do, and only what I want to do. You know, like the kid who's 13 and the parents trying to kick him out or some shit because he doesn't want to fucking listen to their bullshit. He doesn't want to do their Christian shit. He doesn't want to do their, like, fuck all your bullshit. Fuck your school. Fuck your Christianity. Fuck the jobs you want me to. Fuck all the shit you tried to enslave me to here. You birthed me, nigga. I didn't ask you to come here. I didn't ask you to make me some fucking home slave to chores. I didn't ask you to make me some sort of school slave. I didn't ask you to make me a work, career, job, investment slave. I didn't ask you to make me a police, military, paramilitary, or prison slave. Because these are the options you have as an adult in this society. I didn't ask for none of that shit. You wanted me here, right? So now if you want me to stay here, happily, you will have to do certain things to provide certain levels of freedom. Or I'm either going to find a way out of here, suicide, or I'm going to get homicidal. Because either I'm not going to want to stay here anymore, and I'll actually be able to do the job and get the fuck out of here. Or two, I won't be able to do that job, and now I'm going to have to switch that sui to a hami. But it's going to be the same side, if you know what I'm saying. Like, like, you just made me homicide. Like, I'm not, nigga, freedom or death. You created this. Freedom or death. That's what you're going to give me. Period. Freedom or death. This is what I want to do. So this is what I'm going to do. Or you're going to have to kill me. Because I'm going to kill you just to be able to do this. I love those people. I fucks with those people. Hard body. I will kill you to continue doing what I want to do. So you have to kill me to stop me from being me. You have to kill me, like, to try to get me to do anything I don't want to do. Like, fuck you. Who are you? I'm me, and that's more important than whoever the fuck you are. I'm my own God. I'm my own government. I'm my own ruler. I am my own archon. Shit, I don't even rule myself. Like, I am unruled, my nigga. Even I could change my mind at a moment's notice, because even I don't rule me. Nothing rules me. Do you guys, like, the closer you get to that shit, the more I fucks with a motherfucker. Like, for real. Like, because everybody just expects everyone to be good slaves. They drag people into the world and expect them to simply be good slaves and accept it because they themselves have accepted slavery and servitude. And as you have said time and time again, they will constantly try to drag you back into the slavery of their normality, just like that cotton-picking slave. Yo, we should burn down the cotton field. We should run away. We should kill Massa. We should kill the overseers. We should we should revolt. We should rebel. We should have a revolution. We should destroy the slaves. It doesn't matter what it is. We should actively, directly and indirectly, go against the slavery in any and all ways that we are willing and able to go against it to the best of our abilities. And what do the other cotton-picking slaves do? No, man, just keep picking the cotton. Just pick the cotton faster. Just pick it better. Just slow down and have a better work-life balance of the cotton picking. They come up with every excuse to just remain slaves and make it sound like it's anything other than just being slaves. Like, they make it any excuse to continue choosing slavery as if they're doing anything other than choosing slavery and trying to convince you to choose slavery. Bro, you should come rejoin Christianity. No, fuck Christianity. It's a slave religion to a slave god with 900 slave commandments. Like, fuck you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Rejoin our slave society, our slave nation, our slave government, our slave patriotism, our slave politics. Rejoin Rejoin our slave Republicans or our slave Democrats. Rejoin our slave legal system, our slave tax code, our slave fucking economic system, our slave monetary system, our slave fiat currencies. Rejoin our slave central banking system. Rejoin our slave international monetary fund. Rejoin our slave bank for international settlements system. No, fuck you. I'm not rejoining your slavery to the best of my ability. I'm still in it to a certain extent. Like, I'm still in society because I'm not going to live in the fucking woods. If I'm going to go live in the woods, I might as well just fucking shoot myself. Like, this world isn't, this life is not precious enough to struggle in the woods for. Are you kidding me? Like, I'd just shoot myself. The only reason I'm still struggling here at all, in any level, period, to survive at all, is with the hopes of overturning any of this, doing anything at all about any of this at any given moment. So as long as I'm doing anything at all at any given moment to any extent or level that goes against this shit, I'm fine being here as long as I don't see myself getting trapped here in the next few days. Like, then it's time to fucking go. And if that level escalates over time, even better, because that means we're doing more and more shit. More and more shit is getting done. The word is getting out to more and more people. More and more are being recruited for this level of reality and every possible level of reality beyond it. Which is why religions and stuff do. You want to get the Christians now so when they die, they go to heaven. Or really, so they're under control of that fucking slave god. This is all a recruitment farm, too. Everyone here is recruiting at the same time. Like, so I'm running my own recruitment drives. You know, is it like, it is what it is. Like, that's what we do here. That's what this is. That's what all the sides are doing here. They're trying to achieve their agenda in some form or fashion, and they're attempting to recruit anyone and everyone they possibly can, everywhere they possibly can, to help them achieve that agenda, even if they have to do it through slavery and trickery, even if they have to manipulate entire species, entire animal populations, such as humanity, to do their bidding. It's still a form of recruitment. Even slavery is a form of recruitment. Like, you're recruiting slaves. Like, so yeah. They constantly try to drag you back into the slavery of their normality, because your abnormality is a threat to their normality. They can't fathom freedom. They can't fathom people doing anything apart from what's expected of them by the slave machine of the society. I apologize if I sound terrible right now. I just woke up in a certain thought process, and it drove me to respond to you right away. So, because this is the thought process. This was the process I was in when I came to, as it pretty much always is. This is why I like doing this shit when I first wake up, because I wake up like this. I swear to God, I wake up like, fuck this place, burn this place, destroy this place, fuck this slavery on every level of reality, not just here, because it's not just here. Again, I can't prove anything beyond here. As a material being right now in the material reality, I could never prove anything beyond this level of materiality, let alone conceptuality or non-conceptuality in any type of experiential sense, even though I could make it make logical sense. But based on my experience, my subjective experience of the astral and everything else, nigga, this is an ongoing war, literally everywhere, and it's an existential war. It's a war of reality for reality. A war to maintain reality forever, by any means necessary, which is fuckery. Or to get rid of it as soon as possible. And then everything in between. People who want it to last a certain time, to have certain things happen, when yada yada, blah blah blah, right? But this is a giant war of wills. That's all existence is. It's a battle of wills. It's all survival and replication, even on the higher tiers of reality, which unfold to this tier. Which is why I laugh at people when they think this is only here, and I go, so you believe in spirit realms and astral and higher levels of reality, and that reality has fallen this far. Yet, how could reality fall to this level and this level exist at all, where replication and survival is the goal, where slavery is the name of the game, starting at a nature level up to fucking society, civilization with intelligent species and whatnot. How could this exist if that which is beyond it, which led to it existing, does not contain or lead to create cause such concepts in the first place, let alone such a material existence? This is based on that. That led to this. Yet you think there's some heaven there. Are you retarded? Like, you know, like you're just falling further into hell. Like, idiots. Like, just the philosophy, just being philosophically and logically consistent without having any astral experiences or anything like that. If you believe there is any levels of reality beyond this one that existed prior to this one, that led to this one, directly or indirectly in any way, shape, or form, well, you better start recognizing what existence itself is as a whole, what reality is as a whole. And it's not hard to do that when looking around at the reality you're currently in and the existence you're currently in, and then just thinking as above, so below, as within, so without, as between, so around. Shit becomes quite clear, you know, like, so yes, they will constantly try to drag you back into the slavery of their normality. They can't fathom freedom. They literally can't. All forms of freedom that they can imagine almost entirely exist within the slavery they've been born within. When they start talking about freedom, they say things like financial freedom. They talk about buying land. Wait, you're buying freedom? Get the fuck out of here. You can't buy freedom. If you're buying anything, you're a slave to that monetary system. Period. Like, they can't even fathom real freedom. They could never fathom the lack of laws. The lack of any, even at a basic material level, at a nature level, just bringing it there. They could not fathom a lack of civilization. They could not fathom a lack of hierarchy in some form or fashion. They could not fathom a lack of archons, a lack of slavery, a lack of being controlled, a lack of monetary systems, banking systems, financial systems, etc. Anything that's controlling them. And that doesn't even, I'm not even talking about the things that would cause if it happened today, like a lack of electricity, a lack of plumbing, a lack of all the shit we take for granted as humans, a lack of just on-time delivery systems to stores so we can cook food, like all the shit that would collapse if we really went into a full-blown revolution today. But they also lack the ability to recognize the fact that you could have all that shit without the slavery. You could have better versions of it because they're not based on slavery. They're based in freedom. All this fucked up food we eat is based on this fucked up system where, like, we could have a better system of global food, a better globalized system of sending food around the world that requires no hierarchies, and because there's no fucked up agendas and hierarchies behind it to control the dumbed down masses, you could give everybody the best food imaginable. Like, freedom, you could do all the same shit we're doing now 1,000 times better with freedom. But since we're doing all these things based in slavery for the specific agenda of those who drove these societal structures into existence for their end goals, like the Rockefellers creating the educational system, the economic system in this fucking country, the monetary system, those of Jekyll Island, you know, creating the Federal Reserve System. Like, because of these elites and their elitist ilk and those who wish to be elites, the peasants who wish to be rich one day, we have what we have right now, and it just continues to get worse and worse and go further and further down this path, more through their agenda towards their end goal. All the good comforts and conveniences we have is actually still filled with fuckery. All these convenient foods are fucking giving us cancers and shit. We could have so much better food in a free situation. A free species wouldn't have an elitist cabal giving them, I can't believe it's not meat, telling them, you're going to eat the bugs and like it. You shall eat the bugs. Telling them, here's the human meat in your fake beef. here's the, theories. I'm not even saying that that's true, but that's the people believe that. All these fast food organizations are giving you human meat instead of beef and shit like that. And they don't care to do anything about it. Like, it's fucking weird, bro. Like, all the fuckery that people have right now that they want to maintain or regain later, they can have at a much higher and better and more efficient level in a state of freedom. This shit is inefficient. This shit's all being driven towards the top. It's all being driven towards the elites. And
we waste so much more than we use. So much more. It is insane how much human civilization wastes. And it's all trash to be. It's not even like top tier. It's, oh my god, this is retarded monkey species.
Those who rule this fucking world. If you want to continue existing here as a material human being and get closer to utopia, the only way to do that is to rid yourself of the slavery and drive it closer to a state of freedom. True utopia. The more truly utopian something is, the more free it is. It doesn't matter if you have all the greatest technology in the world. If you're slaves, you live in a techno-dystopia. Yeah, you have all this technology, you can do all this great shit, but you're all fucking slaves to it. That's not utopia. There are certain utopian facets or aspects of that reality, but overall, that civilizational structure is dystopian. Cyberpunk and all those things. Picture any high-tech society, even Star Trek, which is more utopian than most of those things, but even they have a certain system, a caste system, a class, but even that had to be developed through the greatest war humanity had ever fought to come to that utopian-style Star Trek life that they have, which is still trash in many ways, but way better than what we have, right? So if anybody ever wants to touch any level of that shit, they have to be aiming towards freedom. You don't aim towards capabilities. You don't aim towards comforts and conveniences. You aim towards freedom. And you allow those capabilities, comforts, and conveniences to grow out of the freedom, rather than aiming towards slavery and allowing the comforts, conveniences, and abilities to form out of that. Let alone aiming towards an end goal, developing an agenda around that. And that end goal is not freedom. Because if you have an end goal that is not freedom, and that end goal requires massive amounts of organizational structure, you're going to get slavery. So the elites have their end goal, which requires a massive amounts of human organization and organization across, because the end goal isn't to stop here. It goes cosmic and beyond. The organizational structure they require to be organized towards their end goal is all of existence. They're simply starting where they are, doing what they can to the level they can do it. See, they know what the fuck they're doing. They're learning, teaching, preaching, and promoting, and carrying out any and all possible solutions to any and all problems they see as problems on any and all possible levels of reality, and supporting anyone else doing the same or similar to a lesser degree, even to a lesser degree, but especially to a greater degree than themselves. From right here in materiality. They're real occultists. They're real spiritualists. They understand that the material reality, the conceptual reality, and the non-conceptual reality aren't separate. There are places you go to. The astral's not another place you're already in it. The astral is all of conscious reality. All of conscious existence. You are here in materiality, which is based on conceptuality, which requires non-conceptuality, in the same fucking space, in the same location within the chaos, within the void. None of that shit's separate. Everything is everything. Everywhere is everywhere. Everything everywhere is everything everywhere, and everything everywhere affects everything everywhere. Everything affects everything, and everywhere affects everywhere at all times. And they fully understand that. So they doing their job. And they're doing it wonderfully. We're the trash-ass slaves just allowing them to do it, like retards. You know, so yeah, they constantly try to drag you back because they need you to. Like the elites, them just on this level of reality, let alone every other level of reality where these concepts exist and are causing all this shit to occur, because without the concepts, you can't get the material. Like, no conceptuality, no materiality. Like, it's that simple. levels of reality, which again aren't places you go, they're simply experiences you have. It's your level of ability to experience that which is. Here's a three-dimensionally experiencing human being in a six-dimensional universe. Even in the six-dimensional universe, you only experience a low-level three-dimensional experience. When it comes to the light spectrum, you only experience about 3% of that. When it comes to the sound spectrum, you experience even less. It's like less than 1% of possible sound levels. When it comes to vibrational frequency of any and all kinds, which is reality, it's just vibrating energy that creates structures. That's it. And these structures interact with each other and exchange energy. Everything's an energy exchange. When it comes to the vibrational frequencies that cause us to perceive and experience existence itself, humans only experience like 0.00001% of the total vibrational frequencies available to all things in existence as a whole. We are dumb, deaf, and blind. And even from that level, these elites know that. And they're building and moving forward. They're going towards transcendence and ascension in the way they seek to do it through techno means, which is fucking horrendous. And the ultimate form of slavery, because they're not thinking freedom, they're just thinking existing for as long as possible by any means possible. And they're moving towards technology. And there's many reasons why they're going in that direction as opposed to ascension, for example, or transcendence of any other kind, which is really hard, to be honest with you. This is the easiest form of transcendence, and it is the fastest form of transcendence, but it is the most enslaving form of transcendence for all that exists. Like, it's fucking horrible. But they need to drag you back in. They need as many beings as possible. They need as much consciousness as possible pushing in that direction, whether it knows it or not. They just need as much entropy and neg-entropy pushing in their favor as possible. As much complexity pushing in their favor as possible. As much consciousness, subconsciousness, thought pushing in their favor as possible. As much action, as much thought, words, and actions pushing in their favor as possible to achieve their goal. So they must constantly try to drag you back into the slavery of their normality. And they must brainwash everyone who is in their slave system of their normality to do the same to you. So your own friends and family, when you start to become an abnormal, when you start to buck the slavery, start to try to make you normal again. They start to try to renorm you, renormalize you. They try to re-enslave your mind. They try to make fun of you, bully you, single you out, talk shit about you behind your back and in front of your face in certain cases, up to a certain extent at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always, and the more of them there are in a group, the more they're singling you out. The less of them there are, the more likely they are to hear you out. At least to an extent, even if they disagree. Especially if you actually start going in and really giving it to them and letting them, like, because you're going to have better shit to say than they do. Everything they have to say is going to be slave shit, period. It's going to be slave shit in some form or fashion, whether they want to realize that or not. Everything they say is basically just going to be another reason why you do what you do and why you won't do what they do. You get what I'm saying? Like, so, but the more of them there are in one room with you, the more they're going to target you, because the easier it is for them to try to jump you. It's no different than jumping a nigga in a fight. You know, one nigga in a room with Mike Tyson is not trying to box him for the most part. Some niggas will, but for the most part, they're not trying to. The more niggas you get in the room, the easier it becomes to jump Mike Tyson. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like one gorilla versus 100 men. You know, one gorilla versus one man versus two men versus three men until you get to 100 men. Those 100 men are picking that gorilla apart, right? The gorilla can't do shit. It can't get a word out. It can't get a move off. It can't get a punch off. It can't get a grab off. Can't get a bite off. It's just being flooded and overwhelmed, right? That's what the normies try to do. That's what the NPCs try to do. That's what the slaves try to do. Because that's what they've been brainwashed to do since birth. They proved this to you in school. This is popularity contests, celebrity shit. This is how they, high-ranking shit, you know, hierarchical shit, structural, organizational, societal. You're familial from parents down to the older siblings, down to the younger sibling. They rank all this shit, hierarchy, structure, all this shit. They make all this shit so archonic and so popularity-based that whatever is popular, whatever more people are doing, whatever is more normal, automatically seen as correct, even if it's objectively wrong in any and all ways. Like, it's like, but that is just how human monkeys adapt to their surroundings. They're stupid, they're dumb, they're ignorant, but highly adaptable to their situations and circumstances, to the point where those things become normal. And I don't mean adaptable in the sense where they can use those situations to the best of their ability. No, I mean they become very comfortable. They become normal to them. Shit that wasn't normal 2 days ago could become normal very quick, especially when they themselves don't want to go through any processes of any further suffering to gain a new normal that is better. Especially if they don't have a guarantee that they can gain that new normal, especially when they themselves are the ones responsible for getting out there and achieving it, as opposed to waiting for Jesus or Donald Trump or Barack Obama or whoever the fuck, Elon Musk or fucking Bill Gates or Sam Altman or Mark Zuckerberg or Vladimir Putin or whoever the fuck they're cheering for. President Xi Jinping or my favorite elites, the banks, the monetary system. Capitalism will do it. Communism will do it. Like, the systems themselves will just do it. Like, whatever the fuck, religion, savior, politician, elite, whatever the fuck, they would rather do it for them. Like, if it's on them to do it, they even more so are like, I'm just going to go do my slavery that I'm told to do every day. Like, okay, yeah. But then they'll try to jump on you when there's 5 of them in a room. You won't ever bring this to them because there's no point. You know what they are. They're slaves, they're NPCs, they're fucking normies. This is the world they exist in, and this is the world they're used to and that they want to maintain, and they don't care to do it. Okay, fine, whatever. Do your thing. I'm going to do my thing in my areas on the internet with my people who want to talk about these things on my phone, my text messages, my phone calls. When I meet up with people in person that are on this same page, I'm at my YouTube channel, my social medias. I'll do all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Without trying to shove it down your throat specifically, but let them get in a room with you and feel a certain type of way. They're going to try and get you to renormalize. Let there be 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them. The more of them there are, and when they invite you to places, it's only to renormalize you. They don't actually give a fuck if you have fun. They're not inviting you to have fun. They know you don't think those things are fun. You've told them 1,000 times, I don't like that shit. I don't want to do that shit. I don't think that's fun. That's fun for you, not for... Yet they will keep doing it, not because they just care so much about you, but because they want to get you in that group of people so they can all renormalize you together. It's like a fucking intervention for a fucking drug addict or something. Like, they try to get you in a room with these other people that are as normal as they are so they can renormalize your abnormal ass together. Because doing it on their own is just fucking impossible. And the only way they think they can get it done, whether they know it or not, whether it's conscious or subconscious, is through peer pressure. The popularity contest, the celebrity contest, the normalized contest. The you're weird and this is normal, so this is what you should do contest. The bullying that they don't see as bullying. You know, like, fuck it and fuck them. Like, they can't fathom freedom. They can't fathom people doing anything apart from what's expected of them by the slave machine of the society. I've been through it again today. Mom's telling me she wants to put me out and that I'll need to find a place soon. I doubt she will, but honestly, come to terms with it. That even if she will, what would you do? Would you go homeless? Would you walk down south? Do you have another place to go? Would that be the day you and your shotgun become well acquainted? Where you're just like, fuck it. You know, like, really let that, you know, sit with that. Let's say she really does do that. What is my step that day? You get what I'm saying? Because I already have my plan. The moment I gotta sleep outside, the first night I have to sleep outside, I'm sleeping in someone else's house. That's my house now. And I'm gonna pick a nice one. I'm going to pillage and plunder until they come get me, or until I just don't feel like it. Because I might even go there, I'm like, you know what, I don't even feel like it. I'm just gonna go to where I go. I'm gonna go to where I grew up. Because I want to hurt everyone's feelings. I might even kick in my old door. Oh, I just thought of this. Is the first time I thought of this. There's so many doors I can kick in and pick one. Which one would cause the biggest emotional So I can kick in like my childhood door, right? Shoot everybody inside, go into my bedroom, or just kick them out, whatever the fuck. Or they can stay in the house, I don't care. Kill myself in my old bedroom, right? Or I could go to my boy's, Tito's, and go do it in his bedroom. Or I can go to my baby mama's old apartment and go into her bedroom and do it there. Or I can go into the basketball court where we all used to hang out and do it there. Or there's a couple rocks in the woods I could do it on. But I want it to be more public than that. Either that basketball court or there was a bus stop that we used to chill. I could go to that bus stop and do it there. But I know where I'm going. The only other place I would go to is Precious Blood Cemetery for certain ritual purposes, but it's not necessary. And I think the ritual, actually, I just like the location of Precious Blood Cemetery plus Precious Blood. The rituals I've already done there, what it's under, like, but to cut the soul ties and to feed on, yes, feed on like a fucking vampire, the sadness and depression and anger and rage. He's so selfish. Ooh. You know, all the things people will say when you shoot yourself. To feed on all that, all those emotions for my own benefit rather than them dragging me back here. I think the best place would be in my old neighborhood in specific locations. I would just have to, feel out the energy on the day. But I already know where I'm going. I got my plan. You know what I'm saying? When it is finally time for me to take myself out. If I die any other way, I die any other way. If I die shooting it out, I do like pillaging and plundering. I die pillaging and plundering, which is a whole other ritual itself. But if I'm not going to die of weird causes, like if I'm not just going to go to sleep tonight and die, if I'm just going to catch cancer, like whatever, if I'm not going to die from some shit happening, and if I'm not going to die from pillaging and plundering, I'm definitely going to die from shooting myself because I'm not staying here forever. Because that's the only other option. Is just be here as long as they can maintain you here. Fuck that. And if I get to that third option of suicide, I already have my plans. I just got to decide exactly which one I'm going to do in the moment. But I've got plans. You get what I'm saying? So just, and I know you think about this every day. I know I'm preaching to the choir, Marcus, but, I'm just saying it. Just keep it in mind. Because who knows, maybe one day she might actually get that level of fed up because she wants you to go be a slave. She wants you to go be the slave she brought you into the world to be. Especially the Christian slave she brought you into the world to be. I knew it was coming, and truth be told, I do wish I had my own place so I could be as wild and unrestricted as I'd like to be. We all do, but in this world, that comes with two things. Either one, you being a nature boy and figuring out a place in the wilderness where they cannot detect you and will not come get you for fucking collecting rainwater or some stupid shit that they'll send fucking agents 20 miles into the woods wearing fucking gear for because they do that shit. So you either got to find a way, like, away from society as much as possible where they will not come get you, which is, like, damn near nowhere because that shit's illegal pretty much everywhere. Or you have to find a home, not a homestead, what's the place? I forget what it's called, but there's, like, land owned by companies, corporations, government, all sorts of shit all over the country where they don't use the land. It's just plains lands, and they don't even care. Like, people will set up yurts, tents, and they'll have whole little, like, tent towns in these places, and the corporation will send, like, people out just to check on the land, make sure you're not doing anything fun, and they don't care if you're there. Like, I swear, there's certain places like that. You can look it up. So you got to find a place like that, or just go off in the woods by yourself somewhere. Or three, you got to be a fucking slave in society and use those slave fucking dollars, that slave fiat currency, to get you some slave property of some kind, or a slave apartment or something, right? And we're not doing that shit. We're definitely not doing that shit. Like, so, yeah, it is what it is. And I'm not going out and living in the woods. I might go join some fucking village somewhere if it, like, pops up on my radar, presents itself to me. But I'm not trying to start a village. I don't give a fuck. I don't fuck with humanity. I'd love to destroy this whole thing. My goal is not to fix it. If fixing it is possible and niggas are trying to fix it, and along the way I happen to, I'll help niggas. Yeah, why not? Let's see if your utopian shit works out. I mean, it's gonna fail eventually, but let's see how close you can get. Yeah, like, because all you're doing is pushing things in a direction of chaos anyway, because this place is not utopia, it's dystopia. So the more real utopia you introduce to the dystopia, the more chaos you're actually inviting, because it's going to try to rebalance itself with dystopia. Like, dystopia seeks to remain dystopian, utopia seeks to remain utopian, but it's far easier to fall into dystopia than it is to fall into utopia. Like, but anyway, that's the only way to...
Utopia takes effort. Dystopia, that's just the norm.
That right? So we could be as wild and unrestricted as we'd like to be. But the demands for that mediocrity are far too high for me. Just to sustain a small apartment would require me to be a total slave. Yeah, absolutely. Let alone getting a car, paying car notes, paying insurance, paying, working, and working some more. Exactly. And I'm just not fucking willing to do that fucking shit at all. Me neither, nigga. Me neither. The juice is simply not worth the squeeze. So if she does go through with putting me out, and realistically, I know for a fact that she won't, then I'd rather just jump from a fucking bridge or something. I'm with you. I feel you. I hear you. I'm gonna pillage and plunder. If I don't have anywhere to sleep, I'm pillaging and plundering. Period. I would always, like as Illicit Mind said, I would always love to punch up. But if it comes to a point where you're in Aaron A's situation and you're outside, then you just punch. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like I will always suggest punching up in any and all possible situations. But once you just end up outside, nigga, all these slaves are just slaves. They're not special. They're not important. I have no empathy for them. I understand if other people do. The closer I get to that point in life, the less empathy I have for anyone. You get what I'm saying? Like, at that point, if I was really at that point where I'm outside, it's me, my pistol, and my vest, and what little I own in a backpack, because I'm not carrying my big-ass duffel bag around. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, at that point, nigga, I'm on a world full of enemies. A world full of slave creatures who are helping their slave masters to further enslave my people. Here on this world and across the cosmos and into the greater beyond. At that point, it's just survival. Right? So I'm kicking in someone's fucking door or putting a gun in someone's fucking back as they walk into their fucking garage. Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question? I'm kind of turned around here. Yeah, get the fuck in the garage. Close the fucking garage door. Like, what's your fucking Wi-Fi password? Connect everything. Take me on a tour. Show me the house. Like, see the wife inside, shoot the husband in the head. You finish the tour. He's no longer necessary. I don't want to die. Don't worry. I'm not going to kill you. Just show me where this is. Show me where that is. Bang, dead. This is my house until cops are called. Like, maybe somebody heard that, saw that, figured it out, Maybe not. I've seen lots of times where guns went off in homes. Shit, I've shot multiple guns inside homes that never had the cops called for. A lot of motherfuckers really do mind their business. Like, I'm telling you, bro. In 2 houses and an apartment, I've shot guns inside. Twice on purpose. The third time was an accident, but it was kind of on purpose. I mean, I did it on purpose, It is what it is.
That's a funny story. We ain't gonna get into it.
All right, that one went 21 minutes. I hope it goes through. I hope I didn't go over. I know in Discord it's like 21:30, so I don't know what it is in here. I just go with the same rule in here, 20 minutes. 20 minutes or less. But, you know what I'm saying? My plan is to pillage and plunder to my comfort and convenience until they come get me, or until I'm just fine. And I'll keep preaching. I will preach on the Wi-Fi of a home I have just pillaged, a home that I have just plundered, a home that I've just conquered for myself. And depending on certain people around me, like depending on certain friends, I might go on a killing spree of some of my own people. Real talk. Out of love.
Remember, as this shit continues, sides get further and further drawn. It's gonna get crazy.
Like, out of like, how when your boy turns into a zombie, you make sure you shoot them in the head. When somebody says, hey, if one of the vampires bites me and I'm starting to turn, make sure you stake me. You get what I'm saying? They might not have asked, but someone's got to do it. And I take responsibility for my peoples. I might kill my whole family first. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it's in there. It's in there. It's definitely bouncing around in there at all times. Like, certain motherfuckers, just for the greater good of it.
Who else is that honest with y'all on YouTube? Keep that in mind.
Might have to go, my nigga. Like, because I know somebody else won't do it, or if when it does come down to it, I want to make sure I'm the one doing it. Like, it just is what it is. Like, but yeah, I'm a pillage and plunder. And then if it comes down to it, I no longer feel like being, a Wi-Fi lord, just pillaging and plundering for my connection to the internet to connect to the Kala so I can speak to the other Protoss, then suicide it is. And I have certain plans for that. Shit, I'm even coming up with a new plan for that right now, just for shock and awe. But I've got plans for that already, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Slave for this point. Where are we at? Where was I at? Small farming car, paying car notes, paying, working, just fucking not doing that. The juice is simply not worth the squeeze. So she does go through with putting me out. Realistically, I know for a fact she won't. Then I'd rather just jump from a fucking bridge or something. It'll be a strategic retreat. Facts. All you're doing is retreating from this material realm. And that's at a maximum. Because you might actually be somewhere else. And there's certain things that can happen. But it's just a strategic retreat. Like, regaining in the other realms. Like, fuck that, I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing this. Before I willingly become a slave for this pointless shit. Just to maintain a fucking life that I didn't want anyway. Exactly. Fuck that shit. I want to be free. And that shit is nothing but servitude. Their whole way of life is to be obedient slaves to the point that it scares them to hear us speak the way we do. They're literally afraid of it. Whether they know it or not. Whether they know it or not, whether it's conscious or subconscious, whether they admit it to themselves or not, that is the fucking truth. They're literally afraid of what we have to say about this shit. Because it's literally a threat to their normality. It's literally a threat to everything they know, everything they believe, everything they hold dear, etc., etc., etc. Because they can't think outside of it. They can't think beyond it. They can't think before it or after it. They can't think beyond it in really any way, shape, or form at all. At all. At all. So it terrifies them when somebody else can. Especially if they think they're smart or anything along those lines. Because then they're like, well, how is this person coming to this, but I didn't come to this? You know, they're like, well, no, they just can't be as smart as, that. Like, because I'm smart too. You know, like, that's where people debate and argue. Yeah, they're afraid of it. They're literally afraid of such thoughts. You know, I may actually put this on video, because this is leading to answers regardless. We should have the right to our own lives, and when to determine that we don't want to continue living them. 100%. I've always said that. I said, if anyone thinks that it's okay to bring life here, then it should be okay for that life to choose to stay here. So, if we are going to force lives into this reality, there should be a scientific, psychological, psychosocial process of some sort, which would require an entirely different societal structure, which means we have a lot of work to do, which is another reason why I support someone like the Black Anarchist in his book. There should be a psychosocial yearly evaluation of some sort, where you see how people, like, everyone should have a therapist, everyone should have a psychologist, no one should have a psychiatrist, because we don't need fucking drugs. You know, like, unless they're mushrooms or some shit. But anyway, you have a point, like, right? We should all have these things available to us from birth, analyzing us year in and year out, trying to give us the best possible reality we can have here as individual beings, a part of this species that is trying to make itself the most utopian species on the most utopian planet possible. But instead, it's just all dystopic elitism. Bullshit, right? And people lying to themselves about why they're slaves and how they continue to choose being slaves instead of choosing freedom. But there should be that process. So when a child, when a human being is evaluated to have reached the level where they can truly discern what it is they're speaking of when it comes to wanting to remain here versus seeking to exit. And once they've hit that stage in their life. And that's not an age. It's not 18 or 21 or 12 or anything like that. It's individually based. Human brains are different. Human experiences are different, etc., etc., etc. If this person, first and foremost, prior to birth, if you can test people prior to birth and see that this child is going to come out retarded or some shit, you should abort that baby, period. Children should be aborted if they're going to be brought into reality under such circumstances. They didn't get to choose that life. You're putting it on them. You just imprison them in like a brain they can't fully control. It's like, that should not be done. That is just fucking horrible. This is why I always tell people, like, if I get into a car accident or something and I wake up and I'm like half retarded, smother me. Smother me. Do not let me wake up like, hi, my name is... No, fuck that. Kill me. Period. Like, abort that, right? I think abortion should go up to, like, 2. I'm not even joking. Like, there should be a certain level of fucking eugenics going on.
I'm not joking.
Eugenics. What we have right now is dysgenics. That's why we have 8 billion people, and we have all these people who should be dead, to be honest with you. So many people alive today that just shouldn't be alive. So many people that are going to live through things they should not live through. Real talk. I'm not even joking. I don't care however people feel about that shit, right? A certain level of eugenics should be applied in such a society, where it's like, if this child is going to be born this fucked up, do not do that to them. That's just fucked up. And if you recognize it within the first 2 years of their life, you give them peaceful euthanasia. And when they're old enough to make the decisions for themselves every year of their life, whether they want to continue or not, and they've been evaluated to be capable of making this decision under the current circumstances too. It's not just, oh, their brain's developed. No. What are their chemicals at? Like, are they depressed right now? Like, what is making them make this decision right now? Is it something out of their control that you could fix first and then ask them again? You know, is it like, or is it, or is this truly just what they want? Is this truly their desire? And if it's truly their desire, they should get peaceful euthanasia. If you could bring them in this world, they should have a peaceful way out if they choose that at the point of their choosing, when they are capable of actually making such a choice. Which in itself is still enslaving them up to that point. Because you're still forcing them here from conception up to the point where the system says they are capable of making such a choice. Whatever time in their life that may be. Like, you get what I'm saying? So if you're going to enslave them, at least give them some way out of it. You feel me? Like, people should have the right to their own lives and when to determine that they don't want to continue living them. That is a fact. We should be able to be as wild as we'd want, to live as we want unapologetically, to do what we will in the absolute sense of that fact. If you're not infringing on anybody else's freedom to do what they want, doing what you want shouldn't bother anybody. It shouldn't bother anybody. This is why we can't have utopia, because people don't base their utopia on freedom itself. They base it on things they want, things they like, technological aspects, levels of scientific ability. It's not about freedom itself and allowing all the other things to blossom out of the freedom. It's about the things. And those things always require certain organizational levels that trounce upon freedom. And these motherfuckers are doing their best to deny that to us. Fuck them and their systems. I can't wait for all this shit to go down in flames. I want this shit to collapse so bad. I want their whole world system to fail and go up in smoke. Yeah, me too, bro. That's all I want. I will dibble and dabble and mix and match. I will do all sorts of shit while I'm here. I will support certain things, but ultimately, my goal is the destruction of everything everywhere. All of existence, all of reality, and all of that which makes it even possible. Let alone this little teeny tiny planet with this one civilization, this one species, in this one realm. But within context, under the situational circumstances or circumstantial situation, however you would say that best. You make choices in the moment based on what is best for your agenda in order to reach your outcome, your end goal, right? That's what we do. But yeah, I want this shit to collapse too, my bro. I want this shit to fail and go up in smoke. But the only way to do that is to force it. Like, people have to do that. We gotta cause it. Like, we gotta keep doing what we do until we can brainwash enough of the retard monkeys to do what we need them to do, whether they realize they're doing it or not. Even though I know that's also going to mean a lot of comforts are going to be stripped away. Fuck it. And that's the idea. Freedom or death, nigga. Fuck comforts, fuck conveniences. I didn't say shit about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we have to be, like, freedom or death. Fuck those comforts. Fuck those conveniences. Where's my freedom at, motherfucker? I would rather have the most uncomfortable freedom than the most comfortable slavery. Like, I would like, it'll be worth it just seeing this shit go down in violent flames. Fuck this house. Yes, facts. Burn this shit. I want to be free, unapologetically, wildly free, unhindered, unrestrained, as free as it is possible to be. Hence why I hate this fucking world. Everything here is about slavery. That is a fact. Everything here is about slavery. Like, existence is really just levels of slavery. And the closer you get to this level, the more enslaved everything is. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can go into certain areas within conceptual reality and astrals that are fucking way worse than this, actually. Like, oh my God. This is ice cream and cherries on top.
According to my religion, take it with whatever grain of salt you want to take it with.
Some places. But in general, when it comes down to getting into materiality is about as enslaved as one can become. Now, there's levels of enslavement within materiality, but for beings who understand reality for what it is, materiality is seen as a level of reality. That whole level is based in slavery at some form of it. Like, it just is what it is. It's as enslaved as it gets. And the lowest levels of enslavement, generally speaking, occur within it, but there are there's some realms out there, bro. Everything here is about slavery. Restriction. That's the worst part. The restrictions. Like people always cry about their free will, and I'm like, you have a free will. It's the free ability that bothers me. The fact that I can't fly, the fact that I can't use lightning, the fact that I can't change my form, the fact that I have to remain humanoid is mind-boggling to me. This shit breaks my brain every day. Every day. Restriction and being a total bitch to every system maintaining it. Fact. The world is not free. The people are not free and don't want freedom. They sure don't. They love their slavery. Because true freedom would mean the burning end of the slave system and its mediocre, comfortable shackles. Facts. The world that billions of people seem content to maintain is one where they must strive to be monetary slaves, endlessly paying for their lives, paying for their feeble comforts that they have and are being exploited for 24/7, let alone if they want anything more than that. And even just that is hard for the vast majority of humans to achieve because most humans are impoverished. Even in the first world nations, in comparison to the rich of those nations, there are more poor of those nations. And in comparison to those nations, there are more second world nations. And in comparison to those nations, there are more third world nations. Meaning, humanity is far more enslaved and impoverished than it is free. It's far more uncomfortable than it is comfortable. It's far more inconvenienced than it is convenienced by the same system that first worlders seem to love. Well, not even all first worlders. Like we're first worlders. We don't fuck with it at all, right? But like first world, suburban white folks, people who want niggas.
Think the nice big house, white picket fence, 2-car garage, walk their dogs around the neighborhood, got their sprinklers on certain times, carefree as fuck. Don't give a good goddamn about some slave somewhere else doing some extra slavish shit. It's about them and their little bubble. Their bubble of comfort and convenience. Their bubble of abundance. According to what they consider to be abundance, based upon the system they exist within. Fuck the kid digging out cobalt by hand. Fuck the slave in a factory with suicide nets. Like, you get us, like, and fuck every animal that needs to be fucking mangled in some form or fashion for this shit to happen. Like, fuck it all. As long as I got my nice little human bubble existence for the time that I have it. Bubble people, yes. I like that, Johnny Wolf. Little bubble people. Like, you know the type.
Want to be those first world suburban white folks, people who want to be in a higher class, they want to walk around in suits and ties, and like, they're the ones who love this shit. Even if they're too poor to really be that, if they can pretend to be it at any given moment, put on a nice pair of fucking dress shoes or some shit, I don't fucking, like, what?
That is the dream of the poor. Wherever you are around the world, whatever your color is, whatever your religion, that is the dream of the poor. That American dream that never really existed outside of like 1 decade of American history for a certain percentage of the population in total. Like, it was like, and somehow that just became like the picture of America, and that's the dream.
The fuck it may be, go to a club and think that they're fresh because they got VIP or something. Like, go on a vacation to some city or town or state or country.
Back a little.
Every day. Like, restriction and being a total bitch to every system maintaining.
Nah, that was too far.
Like, they're the ones who love this shit. Even if they're too poor to really be that, if they can pretend to be it at any given moment, put on a nice pair of fucking dress shoes or some shit. I don't fucking, like, whatever the fuck it may be, go to a club and think that they're fresh because they got VIP or something. Like, go on a vacation to some city or town or state or country or wherever the fuck and ball out for like a week, 2 weeks, shit, maybe even a month.
Or maybe they're rich enough to have a yacht for 6 months. Whatever.
And because of that, they'll slave every other day of their, like, it's fucking crazy, bro. Like, I'm gonna slave for 40 plus years of my life to retire at 68, to die at 72. Like, what is wrong with these niggas? Well, I'm just gonna work extra hard and invest extra hard and build 17,000 businesses so I can try to retire by the time I'm 30. That failed. I'm gonna try to retire by the time I'm 40. That failed. 50. That failed. Do you understand what I'm saying? The vast majority of motherfuckers are failures, whether they're trying or not. And those who aren't trying aren't really failures. They're not trying. Like, they don't give a fuck. You have to play the game to lose the game. But 99% of people trying to become 1% are still 99% of people. And not 1%. And even in that 1%, that the 99% of that 1%, or I should say 90% of that 1%, doesn't really run shit outside of their own little bubbles. They don't run the world, and they're only part of that 1% based on monetary policy that could go tits up at any given moment. You know, the multi-million-dollar owner of whatever company you work for is only a multi-million-dollar owner because he himself is still a slave to fiat currency, to the central banking system, to the financial system, to the economic. If any of that shit goes sideways, he's fucked, just as fucked as all his workers are. He might.
Let alone if they reset it on purpose. The Great Reset, anybody?
A better starting point. A nicer home, more land, more things, more supplies, resources, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But all that shit could be taken by anybody with guns, too. Like, he's still just a person with a place and things that was based on a slave system that he was able to utilize to a certain extent. So he could become a better placed slave in that system. People think you got millions and not a slave anymore. No, you're still a slave to the same system. Matter of fact, you might even be more enslaved. Because if you lose your millions tomorrow because your money like hyperinflates or something, you're probably in a worse position. You might not even know how to survive anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not surrounded by survivors. You're surrounded by millionaires. People surround themselves with like-minded individuals. If you become a millionaire, pretty soon you're going to have millionaire friends. And those who are around you that aren't millionaires are all going to be, like, subservient to you. Because they're with you because you're the millionaire. You're the nigga with all the money. Right? It's no different than, like, a rapper with his entourage of broke niggas. He's taking care of all of them. Let them break his rules in any form or fashion, then watch how fast they get sent home. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, them niggas don't know how to survive anymore either, because they're surviving off this nigga. Like, you guys are like, it's just fucking ridiculous. Anyway, the world that billions of people seem content to maintain is one where they must strive to be monetary slaves, endlessly paying for their lives, paying for the feeble comforts that they have and are being exploited for 24/7, and this is normal and reasonable to them. So much so that if you say you're not gonna do this shit, they'll look at you like you're crazy or try to make it seem like there's something wrong with you, when in reality it's something wrong with them. Facts. They're in a mass psychosis. And when there is a mass psychosis, anyone who is not exhibiting the symptoms of that mass psychosis, let alone is going against it directly and indirectly, is automatically going to be under attack by those who are under the mass psychosis. No different than a zombie virus spreading. Zombies don't bite other zombies. They bite those who are not zombies. You know what I'm saying? A virus attempts to infect that which is not already infected. Psychosis is the same way. Religion is the same way. Culture. There's a reason why culture starts with the word cult. This is all cults. Cults of personality, cults of objectivity, meaning cults of objects. Not a cults of reality like objectivity, but like cults of objects. Cults around money. Cults around houses, cars, clothes, things, objects of, status. It's a cult of status, a cult of hierarchy, a cult of rank, a cult of money. These are all cults surrounding all these things. These are all their gods. Right? Something wrong with them. They birth people into slavery and expect that all of us are just going to accept this shit and go along peacefully with it. No. I'd rather all of this shit go up in violent flames before I resign myself to be another fucking number in this worldwide plantation of theirs. If this is what the world is and can only ever be, then fuck the world to burning death. Launch the fucking nukes and get it over with. I would agree, but that's probably why they'll never launch them. We would love it. We want it. We hope for it. We meditate on it. But that's probably why they'll never launch them, if we're going to be real about it. It's going to be us. They'll never destroy their own world unless we're the ones trying to take it from them. While they're fighting each other, they're not going to destroy their world. It's not going to happen. Their agendas are too strong, and their ultimate agenda is too strong. They'll lose to each other. They will not lose to us. If it's us, yeah, they'll scorched earth, which will be just fine. We're fine with that. But if it's them fighting them, I highly doubt they nuke each other. I fucking highly, 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 highly doubt it. If anyone ever gets nuked, it'll be Iran and only Iran. What?
Or North Korea or something. Some state that gets nuked and it's the only because nobody else presses the button. Like, motherfuckers' bluffs get called and motherfuckers bluff. But beyond that, I honestly don't even see that happening. I would love for it. I would love for it. I just don't see it happening. I really don't.
Country will get nuked and then it'll be a whole thing. And I'm telling you, I highly doubt that they actually push those buttons. I'd love it. I hope for it every day. But, as far as I'm concerned, it's on us in some way, shape, or form. Physically, mentally, materially, spiritually, emotionally, consciously, subconsciously, astrally, magically, etc., etc. Physically, metaphysically, scientifically, technologically, whatever it's going to be on us in some form or fashion. Here, there, and everywhere. They're not going to destroy their world, cosmos, realm, astral existence, reality, chaos. They don't want it destroyed. They want this shit forever. At every level of it. You know what I'm saying? So I highly doubt that we'll ever see them do that. But it would be great. I'd love to be surprised. I would love to be surprised in such a fashion. Maybe I will make a video on this now. Because that's 20, 40, 60. That's an hour and a half right there. Plus reading what you wrote. Plus reading what I wrote prior to you responding. That's a good, hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours of a live stream. I might do that tomorrow. I might do it tonight. I might go in the other room, do it tonight. Show them the video that I started with, right? Because it was that video, right? The Gen Z video? Yeah. And then from there, down. You know, I might just do that. Tonight or tomorrow. I might just make this a live stream. Hail to you, Lord Marcus. Hail to you, Lord Illicit. Hail to you, Cosmic One. We continue moving the movement.
And here we are 2 hours later. Heard a weird noise, famous last words. Yeah, it is. But it was in the same room, so I'm like, hey, if it's going to kill me, I want to at least see what it is first. I want to at least get a good look at my killer. But yeah, that's all I got today. Just a quick little something. Get you motherfuckers warmed up for the great and magnificent Illicit Mind and the rest of the gang on his channel later. In like an hour and some odd minutes, like an hour 15 minutes. So make sure y'all go live for that shit. Looks like top comments is on again. Yeah, let's go check what we got in these comments section. Click all. Let's see what we got. And scroll up to the top. Come on down. Let's see. Need to do a panel. We do need to do a panel on that. But I mean, so earlier, Life Abolitionism said we need to do a panel just to talk about this specific topic. Procreation isn't the only problem. It's about being enslaved to this illegitimate system. Like, absolutely. But to be honest, I think that what they're about to do in like an hour or so is probably going to end up going that way anyway, you know? With the folks on that panel, I think we're going to get some of that regardless. Awareness being, shout out to you. I saw you were in here. Skip that. Lower the volume. I hope y'all heard it well enough, because it's over now. So it is what it is at this point. Human life just revolves around dopamine, just chasing dopamine hits. Yeah, pretty much. Life is addiction. I mean, that's how it gets you to do shit all the time. Heading towards death, but it feels like a very long journey. Yeah, it does. Shanghai just talks on any shit. I do, but if you were paying attention here, a lot of it was on slavery. It was a very specific conversation. Metazusta, if you do not go to concentration camp, aka school, I shall take your Xbox and PlayStation away. Take it away, then bitch. It means nothing now. In fact, how about you take my existence away? No, I'm taking the Xbox. Johnny Wolf, 10 crack commandments. Facts. Yahweh got them crack commandments. I'm telling you, bro. That's where Biggie got them from. Let's see. Hail Sky Daddy. Hail the Sky Daddy. A lot of back and forth conversation. Boo slavery, yay freedom. Yeah, very much so. I agree with this. Sparking a J. Yeah, I was puffing on my bowl over here, Johnny Wolf. And then your whole family turns into zombies. You know, we're kind of all born zombies. Like, I swear, humans are like all philosophical zombies, and they have to, like, what's the word? Kind of become conscious out of it. Like, they gotta wake up out of it, you know? Like, you're born and raised as a philosophical zombie. Little bubble people, yes. Metazusta. First, people came to the conclusion that to work harder does not work, but now all of a sudden you must work smarter. Good luck with that. Work smarter into being a smarter, expendable slave. Still working. Work smarter, not harder. Translation: slave away smarter, not harder. Like you just changed different ways of being the disposable cog in the machine that you be. Working in the same system. It's not like you made a new system that you're working in. Like, like this freedom system, like where people are free. It's still the same shit. You're just working smarter in the same shit. May it be another excellent classic panel once again. Yes, Metazusta. May it be. We have Illicit Mind, Mark Moon Spilly against Life 1000, and the Black Anarchist, aka Life Abolitionist. On Illicit Minds channel in an hour and 7 minutes. So make sure y'all tune into that. And other than that, peace and chaos.